Welcome to ECTV Live. I'm Rusty Fender, your host. David DeCosmo has this week off. Hope to see David back here next week. Joining us is recurring guest from Lackawanna College and their Environmental Center located in Covington Township. It is Michelle Wheeler, ecological educator. Good to see you back here again, Michelle.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. And of course, there's always something going on at Lackawanna College and of course the Environmental Center, which is only a couple of years old now. We had you on from the start of this. And tell us what's going on this year. Big spring is in vogue now. We're approaching St. Patrick's Day, and spring, I can smell and taste spring hopefully upon us.
So can we. So we have all of our spring and summer programs already lined up, and we're accepting registration for all of them. So we have several different lines of programs that we do. We cater environmental education for the entire community. So we've got programs designed for 3 and 6-year-olds with our preschool program, all the way up to the college programs, and even past that with community programs and general public. So lots of fun stuff going on this spring.
It's interesting, like I always say when we have you on, it's like the term barely existed before 1970 when, we had Earth Day, the first Earth Day on April 22nd, 1970, and people were beginning to become more accustomed to recycling and care of the earth and not dumping hazardous wastes, and now we're still paying the sins of a lot of those from decades and generations past. But ecology has also come such a long way, and it's nice to see a local institution addressing this as well.
Yes.
It's incredible. Now, when this was just thought of in Covington Township, this was to provide the area with education as far as protecting the climate, the earth, and the environment as well. Tell us more about that.
Sure, yeah. So the Environmental Education Center, and as part of Lackawanna College, has been around for almost a decade now. But we have a new facility as of 2014 that's in Covington Township, Pennsylvania. And it's a LEED Gold certified green building. It's got tons of really cool renewable energies and green features. So the entire building is made from recycled materials throughout, very energy efficient. We have solar photovoltaic array, we have wind turbine, we have a geothermal system, and we also have a very, very cool Mars machine. And what the Mars machine does is all of our wastewater gets cleaned through natural processes in plants. So there's no chemicals or anything in it.
And this is a photo of it right here. So everything is back to the earth. Of course, you don't use in wastewater treatment, you don't use reverse osmosis here or anything, but this is back through the actual tertiary sand filtration systems back to the earth like this.
And we use all the plants. Of course, our byproduct is nutrients for the plants, so all of the plants are helping us clean our water. And it's actually a reclaimed gray water system, so the water goes back into the building and is used for flush water. So pretty cool technologies.
We may as well get to this while Mark has the camera on us here, but you also have something new this year as well. This is your newest center and your newest venture into which may not be actually ecological, but it is certainly interesting.
Well, it can be ecological. So we are renting our facility for anyone that's looking for bridal showers, baby showers, anniversary parties, could do weddings as well. So we have a beautiful multi-purpose room that can be decorated. So we're renting the facility. We have lots of parking. We have tables, chairs, all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in looking for a place to rent in the Covington, Moscow area, you can come on out to us and have a green event.
Help the earth and get married in Covington Township. I just thought of the mantra for the entire thing, so give me credit on that if you use it. Now, in Lackawanna College, Michelle, first of all, March 26th, we have the inside of an egg. This starts the spring series. Tell us about that.
Yes. So our Early Explorers is part of our preschool program. It's designed for little kids and their guardian. They come, and it's a series workshop of 6 classes. So it does start March 26th. It's inside an egg. It runs every other Monday from 1:30, till 2 o'clock. And little kids get to learn about nature. Each week has a different theme, spring related. So inside of an egg, they'll get to do an Easter egg hunt as well. An egg hunt, we won't call it an Easter egg hunt, a natural egg hunt. The next week, 2 weeks is inside seeds, so they'll learn about seeds, where they came from, how they disperse through the environment. They'll get to plant a seed. So very hands-on, a lot of fun, really engaging for the little kids. Usually includes a story time, always includes an outdoor exploration time, and it usually includes a craft. So little guys, they always like to do stuff with their hands, so
Absolutely.
we keep them busy.
April 23rd is Awakening Amphibians, and of course the interest in amphibians, reptiles, goes back to the days of the dinosaurs and all that, so there's nothing that children are more interested these days than dinosaurs. And
they get a net and they get to go dig in the pond for some amphibians, so lots of fun.
How about that? Amphibians. May 7th, Animal Mothers.
Yep.
And
so it's kind of a tribute from our way of tributing to mothers in general. So that's around the week of Mother's Day. So we'll be discussing animals, animal mothers, different kinds of animals, and whether they maybe birth live or eggs. We won't get into too much detail for them, but definitely so that they understand where animals and their mothers and different ways they take care of them.
May 21st, coming down the Mother's Day weekend, Memorial Day weekend actually for the birds. Of course, there's always a bird exhibit. That's a huge draw, whether it's at the Everhart Museum or whether it's at the Ecological Center as well for the birds, a bird program.
So we do have a bird program, and the kids will get to learn how to use binoculars, go for a bird walk, talk about bird adaptations. We have tons of environmental props, natural props, so there's feathers, there's all kinds of stuff.
For all those wannabe ornithologists who are up and coming. June 4th is Little Sprouts. I imagine that's for the younger children.
Yep, and for that one, they help us plant in our garden. So they learn all about seeds, vegetables, where our food comes from.
Now, what are some of the classes that are taught? There are classes taught at the Environmental Center. What are mainly those in?
So all of the classes are, of course, environmental based.
Of course.
And we have everything from the little guy program we've been talking about for ages 3 and 6. Then we have our college programming. So we have ornithology, just like you were saying, that's a whole college level course. We have freshwater ecosystems, dendrology, which is to study plants.
Correct.
Let's see, what else do we have? Mammals. Environmental interpretation and park management, so stuff like that. A lot of those classes are geared for conservation and natural resource students, and they take a 1-semester certificate at our center, and then we encourage them to partner with our police academy, which is a pre-existing fantastic program that Lackawanna College offers in Scranton and also in Hazleton. And when they're done with that, it's 1 semester at the Environmental Center and then a couple months at the Police Academy, and students are job ready to be DCNR park rangers. So that's a really affordable way to get right into the workforce.
You bet. I don't think a lot of folks know that one of the most in-demand jobs these days, as far as ecological systems go, is water and wastewater treatment. Now, I'm an aerospace engineer, but I have a huge background in geology and also in chemistry. And there's a lot of licensing that's involved. Every state has licensing to be either a water treatment engineer or a wastewater treatment. I was licensed years ago in New Jersey from when I worked out there, N4 to, that's an industrial application, to a T1, which is a treatment 1 process. You just can't work at a sewage treatment plant. You just can't work for Pennsylvania American Water or Aqua America at a water treatment plant. There's a lot of licensing, a lot of testing, a lot of schooling involved for that. And if you look on any of the job sites like Monster or Indeed, you'll see that, I'll tell you, 3 out of every 10 jobs have something to do with the environment. It's a wonderful, wonderful career path to go into. And as we get more involved into the actual ecosystem, the more jobs become available, because the more they're tightly, registered, and they're more tightly monitored. Actually, these are all state jobs, by the way. You can work for different companies and be a wastewater treatment engineer, and people think, who would want to do that? Well, it's a job that's not going to go out of business tomorrow.
No, it's not.
You're always going to need this. And again, the wastewater that you discharge into the Lackawanna River in Scranton is actually the drinking water for the communities
for
of
everybody
Berwick.
downstream.
That's exactly right. Everybody downstream.
Berwick, and we're downstream of somebody else.
Exactly. Bloomsburg and Berwick, which use Aqua America in that area, they use about an 80% pumping system from the Susquehanna River, and of course by uses of reverse osmosis and different filtration systems, ultraviolet pasteurization, sterilization, the application of potassium permanganate solutions into the, to prevent oxidation in the pipelines and all that stuff. There's a lot to it, and a lot of people don't realize the great career potential of high-paying jobs involved. These are high-paying jobs.
Good jobs that will support a family,
You better believe it. Entry-level, just entry-level jobs in water and wastewater start about $20 to $25 an hour. So it's really something to look into. This is the career path of the future, and again, 10 years old already. So you have a great foundation underway already at the center. So what's a normal day like in your life at the center?
For me, I do a lot of
planning.
A lot of planning,
no doubt.
lot of marketing, all of these programs, because there's no point in having a great program if people don't know about it.
You're right.
So you got to get the word out for all of them. A lot of scheduling, taking registration. Most of our programs are nominally costs. So a lot of our evening and public programs are $5 to $10 per person. We do require pre-registration. The Early Explorers program that we were talking about before for the 3 and 6-year-olds are $40 per person. So, and then we have a ton of summer day camps. We have about 12 weeks of summer day camp for the summer. So that takes a lot to get organized, ready to go, prepared. Lots of fun activities for the kids, so making sure you have all your supplies pulled and ready to go, and staff's ready, and trained and CPR certified.
You have your
everything.
work cut out for you too, because a lot of people will not really know, like I explained about water and wastewater treatment. A lot of folks don't know the process you have to go through to get a job like that. There's a lot of licensing from the government, a lot of licensing from the state to go there, to do that. So when you talk about things like ecology, most folks will think, what am I going to be, a trash collector and pick up the garbage? It's got nothing to do with that. This is sustainable programs that enhance either the water, the water cycle of life, or the earth cycle of life.
Energy conservation.
Energy conservation.
It's huge. Sustainability and green feeds into everything we do. One of the other programs that we have for college-age students is sustainable agriculture. So that's an associate 2-year degree. So we're talking about food. We all need how many meals a day, and snacks. So food's a huge part of it. So that's a partnership with our Lake Region Center in Hawley, and then our center. So they take classes there and online at Lake Region Center. And online, and then we have a hands-on apprenticeship farm at our center. So,
and not only that, but agriculture, as you well know, the #1 pollutant in most water systems, phosphates from planting. So agriculture directly, you need the water, but it's the most pollutant aspect of the most pollutant industry that goes back into the watershed with phosphates.
And so when we think about agriculture, the first thing we typically think about is food, but then agriculture goes way past that into the cotton in our clothes, and all different aspects of agriculture besides just harvesting for food.
Harvesting for food. Now, on your summer and your nature walks and sustainability talks as well, we have March 14th. This is huge. I do a radio show on 94.3 FM, The Talker, for the past 4 years here, all about the energy business, more or less with the Marcellus shale gas news, but we also get into, of course, solar and wind. So there's nothing bigger right now than the future sustainability of solar energy. It does have a lot of drawbacks. You have to store that for a cloudy day. But solar is the biggest thing, and I see on March 14th, it's a Wednesday at 5:30 in the afternoon. Tell us about the Solar Discovery.
So we have
very interesting.
Home and Business Solar Discovery Program. It is March 14th, like you said, and we partnered with the Sustainable Energy Management Systems, and they're going to come in and do a presentation. They're going to talk all about what is solar, the different kinds of solar, why it's important. How do you use solar? Do you use something called net metering? Do you store it? So he's going to give all the options. He's going to give the pros and cons of each, and he's going to talk about all the financial aspects of it. So grants, tax credits, finding money for it, and what's your return on investment, and what's
you can get a lot of money
the financial
back.
And the ecological impacts.
If you go past businesses now and you see the entire array of solar panels on the roof, they're getting a huge saving for that.
So something that I learned when I called him to schedule the program was I knew that for residential homeowners for our houses, there's a 30% tax
Correct.
credit. But it turns out that there's a 60% tax credit for businesses.
I didn't know that. I thought it was the same right down the, well, that's huge.
That
60%.
is huge, yeah. And then I think that there's some accounting ways where you can claim it as
like a
a
deduction.
business asset
Absolutely.
and then a deduction.
And a deduction.
So,
yeah, it would.
So.
And it would be if you expend something back into the business, which is going to save you money and also save a public utility money,
right?
Whether it be, PP&L or whomever, Dominion Energy, whoever serves the area, or even, a UGI. I think that goes back, into your pocket. You should get a deduction on something like that.
Right, and it's something that you would then keep, the lifespan of a solar panel. Most warranties say 25, 30 years,
Right.
but we still have solar panels back from the 70s that
No
are
doubt.
still working
No doubt.
great. So just because your warranty is up doesn't mean it's end of life. 25 years, take it down and recycle it or throw it out. It's still producing energy.
You're right. Of course, every year they come out with something that's a little more energy efficient, but nonetheless, the ones that are the prototypes from the 70s and 80s, they work just fine.
Right, and they're still working. So now we have ones
Absolutely.
that work even better. So I'm excited to see how well they still work
Absolutely.
in 30 or 40 years.
That's the solar talk, the Nature Walk and Sustainability Talk for March 14th. Now, on April 22nd, we just mentioned this date who's ingrained in anyone's mind who can spell the word ecology is the first Earth Day back in 1970.
Right.
Big song from that year, Zager and Evans in the year 2525, coincidentally, all about the future and we'll bring if man is still alive. So everything tied together for the first Earth Day 48 years ago. That's truly unbelievable. But you have a family Earth Day hike.
Yes.
That's a Sunday, of course. It would be on the weekend from 1 until 2:30 p.m. Looks like a good time there, Michelle.
Yeah, that's just going to be a great way to get the family outside. So that's geared for the family. Everybody can come, and we'll do a nice hike around the trails at the Environmental Center. So we have about 5 trails.
Chances are you're not going to have a snowstorm either. No. Chances are on April
We hope
22nd.
not.
Never discount that, but
Yeah.
the better weather at least will be knocking at the door on that time.
Yep.
That looks like a good time, of course, on the 48th anniversary of the first Earth Day in the United States. Now we have a family birding, of course. So this is a Family Birding 101. This will be May 9th. It's a Wednesday at 5:30 in the afternoon. And that's, of course, with the Pocono Avian Research Center as well.
Yep. So we have a lot of families that come in and, the parents might not be as experienced with birding or how to bird. And, we think that even using binoculars, we can figure it out, but there's a really precise way that you just hold them up and learn how to focus them in so that they're ready to go. So this program is going to be designed for families again, so you can bring everybody, and it'll be how to use your binocular, how to use your field guide, different parts of the body for birds. So when you're kind of looking and say, all right, there's one over there on the branch, what are we looking at? So it's black, he's got a black cap, he might have a white breast, where are his wing marks. So then learning how to identify those key features so that you can bring it back to your field guide and properly identify birds.
You have a lot of expertise in this field, obviously, and where would you like to see, where do you think we're a little deficient in the nation as far as ecology right now? Where would you like to see the movement go, more or less, toward what areas?
Maybe just as a whole.
A little more education, yeah, as a whole.
But that I'm not only for the environment. So I teach environmental science, but I don't do it because I only like animals. I do it for everybody. So I want a better future for my kids and my kids' kids. So just because I am an environmentalist and I'm probably hug trees because I do, but that I don't do it just for the trees and the animals. I'm not what's called ecocentric.
Right.
I believe in a better world
That's
for everybody.
That's a good answer, yeah, looking at the broader picture. I think I told this story once before. When I was, this about 5 years ago, I was with the natural gas industry up in the fracking area of Susquehanna County. And we had we have a lot of tree huggers in that area, which reminded me of the story.
Yep.
And one came in who was a licensed professional botanist and an arborist, and came in and said that we're going to run a pipeline through a pasture up between Kingsley and Lenox. So I was one of the engineers on the project up there, and they came to us. These people came to us and said, "We have to move a bush." And I said, "We have to move a bush?" Said, "We have to move somehow a plant which is only home to the native southwest of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah, the Quad State area. There is a bush in this area, which is a very highly endangered species, especially in this area. And they couldn't tell us what it was because they had to move it. Because if we broadcast or knew what it was, then we could possibly either sell it or make some type of a profit. But they had to come in, we had to cordon off the area, and they wouldn't tell us what it was, but they had to remove the bush and send it back to a different area. So in some type of aerial seeding, or a bird, as you well know, could have dropped the seed a couple of states away, and the cycle continues. Very interesting, the way that you can run into something from drilling for natural gas into something so ecological as a bush native to something that's 25 to 3,000 miles away. Everything, as you said, ties into each other. It's a very interesting industry, and it's all interlaced together, Michelle.
It's all connected.
Now, on May 19th, we have the basic chainsaw skills for homeowners. I imagine the first skill would be return with all 10 digits on your fingers, right?
And
That's the first, all your limbs. Tell us about that. Very important, I'm sure.
So that's another weekend program. That's a Saturday from 10 a.m. until 1 o'clock. And we partner with Sandcut Outdoors. He's a gentleman that specializes in, outdoor skills. And he's also first aid, CPR, all kinds of stuff, certified wilderness first aid and all of that. So what he's going to teach in that course is how to use a chainsaw properly, how to check wood compression, where to cut the tree, how to fell a tree, all those things to look for and look at, and how to become more comfortable with the chainsaw. So that program will not be the program participants will not be using a chainsaw for that program.
Let's hope not.
But they'll be learning all about it so that when they go home, if they have one, they could use it more comfortably and more safely. That one is all the programs are pre-registration, but that one's pre-registration and prepayment, and it's $10 per person.
Good thought process behind that, of course, with all the do-it-yourself, like the DIY network and on things on TV. More folks are going to their local hardware store, their Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace Hardware, and doing things themselves. And it's nice to know how to fell a tree so it doesn't wind up in your kitchen.
Or gain that confidence.
Exactly. It's a very dangerous piece of equipment, as a matter of fact. It could be.
Yeah.
That is on May 19th. Again, it's basic chainsaw skills for the homeowners. And it's at Saturday, of course, on the weekend. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Which brings us to the Spring Mushroom Walk. Now, you did this last year. This is very interesting. There's a million different varieties and species of mushrooms. It's incredible. This is a genre in itself, mushrooms, what to look for. Tell us about that.
Right. So this is on May 23rd. It's an evening walk. It starts at 5:30. It's a Wednesday. And we partnered with Nathaniel Whitmore, who is an amazing herbalist who knows all kinds of everything you could about mushrooms and wild edibles, tinctures, kind of all of that stuff. So we partnered with him. He's going to join us. This program is $10 per person. It is pre-register and prepayment. And for this one in the chainsaw, we like to keep our numbers really small, so it's kind of more of a one-on-one intimate group. So we'll cap this at about 20, 25 people. So when we go for our hike, the Spring Mushroom Walk is a walk. So we'll go outside, we'll talk about where to find mushrooms, what to look for, which ones are edible, which ones are not. And this is perfect time for the celebrated morel mushroom. So for anybody that's a mushroom enthusiast, that's really the one that you're looking for in the spring. So we'll see, and he'll tell you all the tricks to the trade for where to find them.
And of course, as you mentioned too, there is a fee for some of these walks, because this is not included in the basic curriculum. So it's a very nominal fee, $10 a person. That's why you want to keep the people who are mainly only interested in this, you want to keep the classes small. You can't have a big 50-person get-together and have it, more or less personalized. Right, a
50-person walk isn't...
It's not going to...
It's not.
No,
it doesn't work out too well.
That's an army, that's not a walk, right?
The people at the end, they can't hear.
Yeah.
So, and that program is actually almost full. So if anybody's interested, definitely give a call to the center, because because I think I maybe have 18,
See, that's
15.
the most interesting. See, I figured if there's one I would go to, it'd be something like that. And apparently, that's the one that sells out. See
Yep.
that? Yeah.
And we do have Nathaniel back usually every spring and every fall because the Mushroom Walk is a huge hit.
Yeah, it is a huge hit. I remember from last year, as a matter of fact. Directions to the center.
From downtown Scranton, we're right up Route 307. So
Right to Covington Township.
Covington
Exactly, can't miss it. And of course, you're on the internet, of course, at the Lackawanna
Yes, we
College
are.
site, and on Facebook as well.
yes,
Yes,
yep.
Facebook as well, and that's under the same, the Environmental Center, Lackawanna.
Yep, yeah. So if you're on LackawannaCollege.edu's website, you go to About Us, and you'll see locations, and we're one of the satellite
One of the
campuses
locations.
for.
Got
yep.
it. So
And
again,
I
I'm
think-
sorry about that.
I think I have a phone number page for
Yes,
you.
you
At
do.
the bottom.
And this
There
is it
we
here.
are.
Yes, indeed. It is 570-842-1506. And this is, yes, and this is the information here. And again, the Environmental Center in Covington Township. Come a long way
Yes,
in 10 years.
thank you.
Let me tell you, a long way here. Anything else for us? Anything for the future? You're looking forward to the summer programs as well? I guess you're
Yep,
starting to
summer
draw
day
those up
camp.
right now, because when you get these underway, it's time for
Yeah.
the summer programs,
Yep.
right?
Yep, and all of our summer program dates and camps are already ready and online, so you can find them there. Give us a call. Facebook has all of our camps as an event, so you can find us there too.
And again, here's just a rundown of the ones that are imminent. March 26th, Inside of an Egg. April 9th, The Super Seeds, we mentioned. April 23rd, Awakening Amphibians. May 7th, Animal Mothers. May 21st, the week before the big unofficial summer holiday weekend. Memorial Day weekend is for the birds. Again, for all the amateur and professional ornithologists. And June 4th, Little Sprouts. And again, it's lackawanna.edu for all the information on the environmental education. Michelle Wheeler, you've been a great guest as always, and a recurring guest here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for having us here and in your itinerary here at the Environmental Education Center. Michelle is the ecological educator at the Environmental Center, located right off of 307 in Covington Township, Lackawanna County. It's going to do it for this edition of ECTV Live. Dave DeCosmo will be back next week, hopefully. Mark McGlory, our technical guru, thank you for keeping everything as focused, as Dave always says. I'm Rusty Fender. Thanks again. We'll see you next time right here on ECTV Live.